The county's Hazardous Incident Response Team is a highly skilled group of first responders who you'll find on the scene of an emergency involving toxic substances. But when they've got that substance identified and under control, one of their first calls is often made to another group of experts.
We've got them on speed dial on our cell phones. So from an incident, we'll call them directly and communicate directly out there with them. And I'll get Lee to show up on an incident every now and then. He likes to come out and play too.
I can remember a few years ago where I was actually on vacation and my cell phone rang, and there was a big tanker that had spilled some type of noxious chemical on the freeway up on I-5 up just south of Oceanside, and they had to stop traffic, and they needed to figure out what it was. And then once hazmat responded, they found out, and they called us, and they called me and said, "Hey, what's the true risk of this?" Or and were casual, people that were driving by when it happened, are they at risk for toxicity and things like that? And so those are the types of situations when we have a good solid working relation with hazmat.
Lee Cantrell works for the California Poison Control Hotline.
Poison Center, how can I help you?
The number is plastered on many a medicine cabinet, ready for a parent to use when their child has been caught eating the toothpaste.
Part of their skill set is actually putting people's mind at ease, especially when you're dealing with small children. Parents feel obligated to do something. There's a certain amount of guilt, and you want to help your child. And so when my folks tell them, your child's going to be fine, there's nothing you need to do, they still want to know, what can I do? Should I make them throw up? Never. Should I give them food? No, that's not going to help. You don't need to do anything. They're going to be just fine.
Actually, today it was a black widow spider bite, and she called back just to say thank you, which was nice.
There's 4 poison centers in the state that make up the poison control system that we're all a part of. And we serve the 36 million people in the state of California. We have pharmacists with specialized training in toxicologists, nurses with specialized training in toxicology, and we have poison information providers, and they are specifically trained to manage lower acuity calls, primarily the calls that originate from home.
Yeah, this should not be a problem. How much do you think he drank?
But this poison control hotline is not just there for the public. They've dealt with instances of pesticide exposure, foodborne illnesses, even mystery poisonings involving the medical examiner. A lot of departments in all levels of government rely on the services of poison control, which makes it surprising that very recently it was under threat.
2 years ago, we were threatened with closure. I actually had to issue pink slips to my staff, and because during the budget cuts, they had threatened to completely take us out of the general fund and take away all of our funding, in which case there would be no poison control services for the state of California.
Without poison control around, there'd be a lot more problems out there, a lot more kids eating things without having immediate treatments. You'd have a lot more doctors out there that aren't specializing in poisons and antidotes and treatments. And there could be some wrong diagnosis going. There could be some wrong treatments out there.
And what people fail to realize is that we're actually a money-saving entity. So there's been studies that have demonstrated, even with old data, using old dollars, that for every dollar spent on poison center services, you save 7. When you talk about preventing emergency room visits and transportation with emergency personnel and everything, and then responding to the scene, at least $70 to $90 million a year for the state of California.
So hopefully this small office tucked away in a local San Diego hospital will always be here when that hotline phone lights up.
Poison Control, can I help you?